Ever wondered how an idea, just 9 pages long, could challenge the entire global financial system? How a digital currency created by a ghost went from being worthless to worth trillions? This is the story of Bitcoin, a story of revolution, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of freedom. It all started back in early 2009. The internet was a different place then. Out of the digital shadows emerged a mysterious figure named Satoshi Nakamoto. To this day, no one knows who he, she, or they really were. But their idea was crystal clear: to create a new form of money, one that offered freedom through technology. This wasn't just another tech project. It was the spark of a financial rebellion. The core of this revolution was a white paper, a simple digital document just 9 pages long. It laid out a breathtaking vision, a system for peer-to-peer electronic cash. In simple terms, it explained how money could work without the need for banks, governments, or any other middlemen. It was a blueprint for a decentralized world, where you, and only you, controlled your wealth. For the first time, the power was being handed back to the people. Then, on January 3, 2009, history was made. The first ever block of Bitcoin, known as the Genesis block, was mined. It was a quiet beginning, a small step that barely made a ripple at the time. Embedded within that first block was a message, a headline from the Times newspaper. Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. It was a subtle, powerful statement. This wasn't just code, it was a protest. A small step that would soon shake the foundations of the financial world. Bitcoin was never just about the technology. It was a movement, a promise of financial independence and sovereignty in a world where trust in traditional institutions was fading. A glowing network began to form, connecting people across the globe who shared this vision. They saw Bitcoin as a beacon of hope, a way to build a more fair and transparent financial future for everyone, everywhere. In the beginning, this movement was small. It lived in obscure online forums and chat rooms. A handful of early adopters, programmers, cryptographers, and cypherpunks, started using it. They were often called dreamers, idealists, even crazy. But these weren't just hobbyists, they were pioneers. They saw past the technical jargon and recognized the profound potential. They were mining, trading, and building on this new frontier because they didn't just believe in the code, they saw the future. Then came the moment that brought Bitcoin out of the digital ether and into the real world. On May 22, 2010, a programmer named Laszlo Hanyecz made history. He bought 2 large pizzas for 10,000 bitcoins. It was the very first real-world transaction using cryptocurrency. At the time, it seemed like a quirky experiment. Little did anyone know that those 2 pizzas would one day be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. That delicious slice of history is now celebrated every year as Bitcoin Pizza Day. For the next couple of years, Bitcoin's growth was slow but steady. It was still an underground phenomenon, a secret handshake known only to a dedicated few. Its price hovered in the single digits. It was a period of quiet development, where the core infrastructure was strengthened and the community grew organically. It wasn't glamorous, and it certainly wasn't making headlines yet. But beneath the surface, the foundations of a global revolution were being solidified, one block at a time. Then, suddenly, the world started to pay attention. The first real boom happened in 2013. The price surged, breaking through psychological barriers, $10, $100, and then, astonishingly, it crossed the $1,000 mark for the first time. The secret was out. The quiet hum of the underground had turned into a roar that was impossible to ignore. Bitcoin was no longer just for the tech-savvy few, it was entering the public consciousness. The media went into a frenzy. News channels, newspapers, and websites couldn't stop talking about it. Headlines screamed about this new kind of money, this digital gold. Was it the future of finance? A speculative bubble? Everyone had an opinion. The narrative was powerful and polarizing. For the first time, millions of people around the world were hearing the word Bitcoin, and they were captivated by the mystery and the potential. But with fame came fear, uncertainty, and doubt. The established powers began to get nervous. Banks, financial regulators, and governments started to question this new, uncontrollable force. Could Bitcoin really replace traditional currencies? Was it a threat to their control over the financial system? Skeptics and critics emerged, calling it a tool for illicit activities, a Ponzi scheme, or a fleeting fad. The battle lines were being drawn. And then, just as quickly as it had risen, it all came crashing down. The first major Bitcoin crash sent shockwaves through the nascent community. Prices collapsed by over 80%. People who had invested their savings lost millions overnight. The media, which had once hailed it as the future, now gleefully called it a bubble that had finally burst. The critics felt vindicated. To many, it seemed like the grand experiment was a failure. For a while, everything went quiet. The hype vanished. The fair-weather investors fled. The news cycle moved on. Empty computer screens and dark, dormant charts painted a bleak picture. The dream of a decentralized future seemed to be over before it had even truly begun. The world seemed to collectively say, "We told you so." It was a brutal crypto winter, and only the most resilient could survive. But not everyone gave up. While the world looked away, a small, core group of believers kept the flame alive. They weren't in it for the quick profits. They were the true revolutionaries. The developers, the miners, the builders. They continued to code, to improve the network, and to strengthen the foundations. They believed in the technology and the mission, even when the price was in the gutter. This quiet period of perseverance was perhaps the most important in Bitcoin's history. And their faith was rewarded. Slowly but surely, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, Bitcoin started to climb again. This time, its rise was different. It was stronger, more resilient, and built on a much more solid foundation. The technology had matured, the community had been tested, and the asset had proven it could survive a catastrophic crash. The comeback had begun, and it was going to be bigger than anyone imagined. A new generation discovered Bitcoin. They were young, tech-savvy, and globally connected. They grew up with the internet and weren't afraid of digital assets. They saw Bitcoin not as a strange, risky experiment, but as a natural evolution of money. Armed with smartphones and trading apps, they joined the movement in droves, bringing fresh energy, new ideas, and a fearless attitude that would propel Bitcoin to unprecedented heights. Bitcoin was no longer just a coin or an investment. It had become a powerful symbol. It represented the idea that ordinary people could take back control of their financial destiny. In a world of inflation, government overreach, and financial censorship, Bitcoin offered an alternative, a system based on mathematics and code, not on the whims of politicians or bankers. It was the banner for a global, peaceful protest against a broken system. The sheer power of this movement became impossible to ignore, even for the titans of finance. Wall Street, which had once dismissed Bitcoin as a joke, started to take it very seriously. Legendary hedge fund managers and billionaires who had once been vocal critics began publicly announcing that they were buying Bitcoin. They saw it as a hedge against inflation, a new asset class, a form of digital gold. The outsiders were now becoming insiders. This ushered in the era of institutional adoption. The narrative shifted from a retail-driven phenomenon to a serious, institutional-grade asset. Major publicly traded companies like MicroStrategy and Tesla began adding billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin to their corporate treasuries. Payment giants like Square and PayPal integrated it into their platforms. The revolution wasn't just knocking on the door of the financial system anymore. It was being welcomed inside. Today, Bitcoin's impact is truly global. From North America to South America, from Europe to Asia to Africa, people are using it for everything from long-term investment to cross-border payments. In countries with unstable currencies, it has become a lifeline, a way to protect their savings from hyperinflation. Bitcoin is becoming a universal language of money, transcending borders, cultures, and economic systems. The story of Bitcoin is far from over. It's a story that continues to unfold every day, with every new block that's mined. It is a testament to the power of an idea and the passion of a community that dared to dream of a better future. Governments around the world watched with a mix of fascination and fear as Bitcoin gained momentum. Some nations, perhaps wary of its disruptive potential, moved quickly to ban it outright, while others debated its implications in heated political meetings. There were concerns about control, about regulation, about a new form of money operating outside traditional systems. Yet, despite their attempts to curb its spread, despite the resistance and the rules, they couldn't stop it. The genie was out of the bottle, and this digital revolution was just getting started. But what exactly was this digital currency that caused such a stir? The true genius behind Bitcoin isn't just the coin itself, but the revolutionary technology that underpins it, the blockchain. Imagine a digital ledger, a chain of records, where every single transaction is recorded securely and transparently. Once a record is added to this chain, it's there forever. No single entity controls it, and crucially, no one can change it, tamper with it, or erase it. It's decentralized, immutable, and incredibly robust. This innovative structure ensures trust and security without the need for intermediaries, fundamentally changing how we think about value and transactions in the digital age. And why did this matter so much, especially in its early days? For millions of people across the globe, particularly those in countries with unstable economies or without access to traditional banking services, Bitcoin wasn't just another speculative investment. It became a lifeline. Imagine individuals using mobile wallets, bypassing the need for physical banks or volatile local currencies. For them, Bitcoin offered a new kind of freedom, a way to send and receive money securely, instantly, and without exorbitant fees. It became more than an investment. It became a beacon of hope, a tool for financial inclusion that empowered countless lives, providing stability where there was once uncertainty. Of course, the journey wasn't without its bumps. Bitcoin's price chart often looked like a roller coaster, a dizzying ascent followed by a precipitous drop, only to rise again with renewed vigor. Critics and skeptics often pointed to these dramatic market fluctuations as proof of its instability or lack of fundamental value. Yet, history has shown a remarkable pattern. Every time it crashed, every time it seemed on the brink of collapse, it came back stronger. These cycles of crash and rise weren't just financial events. They were stress tests that strengthened the network, broadened its community, and proved its resilience against all odds, solidifying its place as a groundbreaking technology. The critics were always vocal, and for good reason. They raised valid points that sparked essential conversations. Economists on news channels frequently aired concerns, arguing that Bitcoin's underlying technology consumed vast amounts of energy, making it environmentally unsustainable. Others worried about its potential use in illicit activities, painting it as a tool for criminals due to its pseudonymous nature. And perhaps the most common criticism was that it had no real use, no intrinsic value, just a speculative bubble waiting to burst. These debates were crucial, forcing the community to address these challenges head-on and continuously innovate for a better future. But while the critics aired their concerns, a dedicated community of innovators and developers was hard at work. They weren't just passively observing. They were building, improving, and solving problems. These brilliant minds were coding solutions, enhancing the network's efficiency, strengthening its security, and exploring ways to make it more environmentally friendly. They embraced the challenges as opportunities to refine the technology, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Their tireless efforts laid the groundwork for significant advancements, transforming Bitcoin from a nascent idea into a robust and evolving global phenomenon, proving that collaboration and innovation can overcome complex obstacles. One of the most exciting innovations to emerge from this dedication was the Lightning Network. Initially, Bitcoin transactions could sometimes be slow, taking minutes or even hours to confirm, which wasn't ideal for everyday purchases. The Lightning Network changed all that. Imagine a second layer built on top of Bitcoin, allowing for instant off-chain transactions. Visuals of fast transactions, almost instantaneous, became the new norm. This breakthrough made Bitcoin much more practical for micropayments and daily commerce, transforming it from a slow digital asset into a rapid, efficient payment system, vastly expanding its utility and paving the way for wider adoption. Today, after years of development, adoption, and weathering countless storms, Bitcoin has earned a new moniker: digital gold. Just as physical gold has historically been a safe haven asset, a store of value during economic uncertainty, Bitcoin is increasingly seen in the same light. Its decentralized nature, finite supply, and resistance to inflation make it an attractive alternative to traditional assets, especially in uncertain times. The image of a golden coin glowing on a black background perfectly encapsulates this idea. A precious, resilient asset in the digital age, offering a new kind of security and stability in a world that often feels unpredictable. Beyond the technology, the market fluctuations, and the political debates, there's a profoundly human story woven into the fabric of Bitcoin. Behind every Bitcoin wallet, every transaction, every chart, there's a person. There are individuals who took a risk, believing in a new vision for finance. There are families who found a way to preserve their savings during hyperinflation. There are entrepreneurs who built new businesses on this innovative platform. Their stories are a mix of risk, reward, and unwavering belief in the potential of this technology to create a more equitable and open financial world. These aren't just numbers on a screen, they are lives transformed. And it seems the message is finally resonating with a broader audience. Today, the rise of awareness around Bitcoin is undeniable. What was once dismissed as a niche, fringe idea is now mainstream. You see street interviews where ordinary people discuss it, and social media buzzes with conversations about its future. Even those who once doubted it, those who scoffed at its early promise, are now talking about it again, perhaps with a newfound curiosity or even respect. Bitcoin has cemented its place in the global financial conversation, proving that truly revolutionary ideas, when persistent and well executed, eventually capture the world's attention. This isn't just about a digital coin, it's about a movement, an idea, and an incredible journey. Get ready for Bitcoin, the comeback of the century. For years, the world scratched its head, wondering what this Bitcoin thing was all about. But slowly, steadily, an amazing transformation began. It wasn't just a handful of tech enthusiasts anymore. Schools started offering crypto classes, brilliant podcasters broke down complex concepts into digestible insights, and incredible YouTubers emerged, explaining how Bitcoin truly works in a way that everyone could understand. The journey from niche tech to mainstream understanding was fueled by a dedicated community. Why did this educational wave matter so much? Because in a world where traditional money often felt like it was losing its footing, where inflation silently eroded savings, and financial systems sometimes felt out of touch, Bitcoin began to offer something different. It became more than just a currency. It became a symbol, a voice for freedom. We've seen protests globally, people standing up for their rights, and simultaneously, the stark reality of money printing machines working overtime, diluting the value of hard-earned cash. In these moments, Bitcoin offered an alternative, a way to opt out of a system that many felt was no longer serving them. And this isn't just a story for today. It's shaping the future. Think about it. The next generation is growing up with technology embedded in every part of their lives. They're learning coding, understanding digital assets, and seeing the world through a decentralized lens. When they look back, they won't be asking, "What is Bitcoin?" That question will be as quaint as asking, "What is the internet?" No, they'll be asking, "Why did we ever use anything else?" They'll see a world transformed by this innovation, where digital scarcity and transparent transactions are the norm. Yet, amidst all this, one tantalizing mystery remains: the identity of Satoshi Nakamoto. Who was this elusive creator, or creators, who gifted the world this revolutionary concept? We picture a silhouette typing away in anonymity, a genius crafting a new paradigm. But perhaps in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter who Satoshi was, because the idea, the groundbreaking concept, lives on. It has transcended its origins, become bigger than any single individual, and taken on a life of its own. It's a testament to the power of a decentralized vision. What is it about Bitcoin that has allowed it to endure, to grow, to bounce back from every challenge? It's something deeper than market capitalization or transaction volume. Bitcoin's real power was never just about money. It was about belief. The belief in a more equitable financial future. The belief in individual sovereignty. The belief in a system that can't be manipulated by a single entity. It is the collective conviction of millions of people worldwide that has given it its unparalleled resilience and drive. So, what does the future hold? Imagine a world where money is truly code, transparent, and immutable. Where trust isn't placed in intermediaries but directly on the blockchain itself. This isn't science fiction, it's the direction we're heading. The digital world is steadily transforming, with blockchain grids forming the backbone of new economies, new ways of interacting, and new definitions of ownership. It's a future where financial services are accessible to everyone, everywhere, without borders or barriers. And speaking of resilience, Bitcoin has proven time and time again its incredible ability to recover. We've seen the dramatic rises, the dizzying falls, and then, always, the incredible comeback. After every dip, every moment of doubt, Bitcoin finds its strength, rebuilds, and rises even higher. That S why it S truly earned its title, the comeback of the century. It's a testament to its fundamental value and the enduring belief of its community. Ultimately, at its core, Bitcoin isn't just about getting rich. While financial gains can be a part of its story for many, the deeper message, the true north, is about getting free. It's about financial freedom. Freedom from censorship, freedom to transact globally, and freedom to control your own assets. It's a powerful statement about autonomy in the digital age. So let's reflect on that powerful message as we wrap up. No banks, no borders, just code, and a dream that refuses to die. A dream of a decentralized, transparent, and fair financial system for everyone. This is the incredible story of Bitcoin, and it's still being written, with each one of us playing a part in its ongoing narrative. If you found this journey inspiring, please hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the world of finance and technology. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.